Imagine this. I'm standing out back working the grill ghost pepper wings hissing over the flames. These things are so spicy they could make the devil himself cry uncle. My brother's army squad is coming over private cookout. No invites, no neighborhood drama. Then out of nowhere, Karen storms through the block hollering like she's ringing the Liberty Bell free buffet at Rex's. Everyone come on down, he's feeding the whole block. I bolt outside 30 strangers already crowding my backyard. Kids stacking plates, moms double-dipping teens filming TikToks. And Karen, she's waving napkins and acting like she's the hostess with the mostest. I'm just standing there thinking, what fresh hell is this? Then First Bite Land's faces go red eyes. Pop tears start pouring. One guy launches his plate and runs for the hose kids, spitting into my pool adults raiding my beer cooler. Meanwhile, Karen's just bit into the biggest wing on the tray. Trust me, you haven't seen chaos until you've seen an entire block hit by 2 million Scoville units at once. Now you're probably wondering, how did it come to this? What kind of maniac lets their backyard BBQ turn into a scene from a disaster movie? Well, let me take you back, because this isn't just a story about spicy wings. This is the tale of how I, Rex Thornfield, 52, newly single electrician, hot pepper addict, brought down a suburban dictator named Karen using nothing but paperwork, patience, and, well, a little culinary napalm. It started a couple months before the Battle of the Ghost Pepper Grill. I'd just moved into Willowbrook Estates, nice place. Tree-lined streets, mix of families and retirees, felt like the kind of spot where people mind their business. I'd sold the old family home after my divorce, used what little I had left to buy this ranch house. My one joy was growing peppers so hot they could strip paint Carolina Reaper's ghost stuff most folks wouldn't touch without medical insurance. My brother Dale, Army Staff Sergeant, visits once a month, usually bringing along a squad of guys who think habaneros are a warm-up. Every visit I'd whip up wings so deadly you needed a waiver to eat them. These guys would sit out back sweating bullets, making bets, just happy to be alive after round 3. I thought Willowbrook was perfect. No obvious HOA, nobody up in your business. Then day 1, as I'm dragging boxes inside, she appears, Karen Kowalski. Full Karen uniform, yoga pants, sunglasses at 6 p.m., clipboard that could stop a bullet. She strides up my driveway, heels clicking like she's counting down to Armageddon. Welcome to the neighborhood, I'm Karen, your block captain. She hands me a stack of laminated community guidelines printed in Comic Sans, because why not insult my intelligence and my eyesight all at once? These rules were straight out of North Korea. No music after 8, no visible hoses, mandatory attendance at block parties, voluntary $200 improvement fee. The word voluntary sounded about as voluntary as a tax audit. I politely declined. She shot me a look cold enough to freeze lava, then muttered, "Well, I guess we'll see what kind of neighbor you are." Mrs. Tessa next door watched it all face in her window eyes, saying, "Buddy, you don't know what you're in for." That night I dug into Willowbrook's history online. Turns out there was a real HOA 20 years ago. Dissolved after the president embezzled 30 grand and ran to Mexico. Karen's authority was 100% in her head, but I didn't know that yet. What I did know was she'd just declared war. 3 weeks later, I come home after a brutal day, find a parking ticket flapping on my windshield, $150 for blocking sidewalk. My wheels are maybe 3 inches over the seam. Not exactly a crime spree. Mrs. Tessa whispers through the fence that Karen was out measuring my truck at 6 a.m., then calling it in. Classic. But Karen's son. Every weekend, his Jeep straddles the entire sidewalk, all 4 wheels, never a ticket. That's when it hits me. This isn't about rules. It's about control. So I start documenting photos of her son's Jeep contractor vans, Mrs. Johnson's boat trailer, Karen's BMW by the hydrant, 23 infractions in a week. Meanwhile, I'm the only one getting fined. Next move, hit her where it hurts her real estate license. I file a formal complaint for harassment, selective enforcement, send an anonymous tip to the licensing board. Meanwhile, I pull public records of all neighborhood complaints, Karen's name on 47 reports, none against her own family. A couple days later, Dale shows up, takes one look at my forensic truck measuring, and starts laughing. Rex, when the enemy shows you their tactics in the first battle, they've already lost the war. He's right. Now I know her playbook, weaponized bureaucracy. She escalates. 2 weeks later, flyers go up, emergency community meeting, acting HOA. President Karen. She's up front at the community center, PowerPoint blazing, dangerous decline in community standards. Next slide, grainy photo of my work truck. She's got a petition, 23 signatures, wants $500 a year for community standards, her as administrator. The gall. But this is my turn. I stand up, pull out my own folder. Before we vote, maybe verify those signatures. I call out names, half aren't there. One moved to Arizona, one's been dead a year. The room erupts. Then I drop the bomb. Original HOA was dissolved in 2003. No legal authority. Mrs. Tessa pipes up. Karen charged me $200 for growing ethnic vegetables. Said only American plants allowed. The floodgates open. Mr. Thompson paid $300 for a shed violation. Mrs. Martinez paid for ethnic landscaping fees. Karen's face cycles through colors like a mood ring on fire. After she storms out, neighbors are buzzing. For the first time in years, folks are talking, laughing, supporting each other. Karen, humiliated, should have backed off, but instead she doubled down. 1 week later, 7:30 a.m. There's a bang on my door, city inspector clipboard in hand. Karen filed 7 complaints: unlicensed business safety hazards, illegal equipment. Inspector spends hours crawling my house, checking wires every socket. But here's the kicker, my work's cleaner than half the contractors in town. Inspector asks if he can use photos for city training, hands me an application for a municipal contract. Karen's complaints keep coming: noise, lighting, suspicious chemical odors. Every time officials apologize, hint that I could press charges. But she's relentless, measuring fence heights at dawn and camo, taking photos from every angle. Eventually, I file a Freedom of Information Act request, 47 complaints, all in the same purple gel pen, all signed by Karen, acting president, which is illegal considering there's no HOA. That's when it clicks. This isn't just a petty dictator, it's a shakedown. I start calling neighbors. Mrs. Tessa's paid almost $2,000 over 3 years fees, fines, threats of arrest. Mr. Thompson, $1,500 for his tool shed. Mrs. Martinez, $1,200 for 2 colorful roses. Even the college kids on Oak paid $300 for noise violations. Over 4 years, Karen's raked in more than 30 grand extortion, plain and simple. So what now? Call the cops. Sure, but why not make it count? I decide to set the stage for one final act of justice, one she'll never forget. Dale's next visit is in 2 weeks, the perfect time for my monthly heat challenge. I start leaving breadcrumbs for Karen, talking up the BBQ, leaving supply receipts visible accidentally, letting her spot trays of wings in the kitchen. Karen can't resist a spectacle, she tells the block. Rex is hosting a big BBQ, everyone's invited. My plan is simple. Let Karen hijack the event, serve up the Reaper wings, and let nature take its course. Day of the cookout. Karen marches up, decked out in her best community leader getup. I'm hosting a proper gathering, she proclaims. Using your backyard, of course, it's for the community. Sure, Karen. Whatever you say. I text Mrs. Tessa, Operation Golden Wings is a go. Dale and his squad show up acting casual. Neighbors pile in, Karen's directing traffic, basking in the spotlight. The trays go out, mild batch for the Army boys, nuclear batch for Karen's guests. I start recording. Karen grabs the biggest wing, shouts about her special blend, and takes a monster bite. At first she's all smiles, then capsaicin hits. Her eyes bug out, sweat pours down, she gasps for air, total meltdown. All around, neighbors are hacking, chugging beer, kids spitting in the pool, chaos everywhere. Karen spraying herself with my garden hose, shrieking, "He poisoned us, the whole thing's on video." I step in, calm as can be. Actually, Karen, these are ghost pepper wings for a private military gathering. No one else was invited. Neighbors sobbing and gasping realize Karen invited them all without my permission to my property, using my food. Police and paramedics show up, news crew in tow. I hand over a folder, documented fraud, fake complaints, proof Karen's been stealing from neighbors for years. The whole scam unravels live on local TV. Karen's face goes from fire engine red to ghost white. The cops lead her away, still drooling and muttering about community standards. Dale, through his tears of laughter, just shakes his head. Brother, I've seen a lot in the Army, but nothing like this. 3 months later, Willowbrook's a different place. Karen pled guilty to fraud, lost her house license revoked. The new family who moved in, lovely people, actually wave when they see you. The block pulled together through our first real potluck in decades. Mrs. Tessa's ethnic veggies were a hit. Mr. Thompson reopened his tool shed, kids running around without a care. I started my own electrical business with that city contract, hired apprentices, even set up a scholarship fund. Dale's squad comes by for monthly cookouts, now legendary fundraisers for veterans. Lisa, Mrs. Tess's daughter, ended up helping with legal stuff. Now we're planning a first date. Not bad for a guy who just wanted to grill in peace. But here's the kicker. The lesson I didn't see coming. It's not about beating the Karen in your life, not really. It's about what comes after. When neighbors stop being scared and start trusting each other, when real community grows out of shared trouble, that's the real win. Bullies can only rule when everyone stays silent. Stand up, shine a light, and watch them melt down faster than a mouthful of ghost pepper wings. So now the sound of kids playing has replaced Karen's angry heels laughter. Rings out instead of threats, and my backyard's the place people come for good food and better stories, not mandatory fees. And yeah, the Carolina Reapers are still around for those brave enough to try. Let me ask you, how far would you go to stand up to a fake authority? Ever had a Karen run wild in your neighborhood? Drop your stories below. Let's swap some battle scars. And hey, if you've got a recipe for justice hotter than ghost peppers, I want to hear it.